who come seeking asylum. We should immediately have the capacity to absorb them, keep them safe until they can be heard.
I want to be clear to folks in this region who are thinking about making that dangerous trek to the United States-Mexico border. Do not come.
Some major mixed messaging there from Biden. He was on the campaign trail to VP Kamala Harris in Guatemala. Joining me now to discuss this is North Carolina Congressman Madison Cawthorn. Congressman, always great to see you. Kamala Harris has now spent time in Guatemala and in Mexico, and yet she still hasn't visited our southern border. And now she hasn't done much leadership at all, instead just telling people, you know, not to come. Even Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez blasted Harris for her hollow comments, giving lip service to immigration law. AOC is a big supporter, as you know, of illegal immigration. Congressman, an estimated 2 million folks are going to enter this country illegally this year alone. Harris says not to come while Biden puts policies in place that forbid us from enforcing our law at the border. It's all a shell game, right? Just so the press can provide proper cover for the Democrats' lawlessness.
Oh, absolutely. Their polling numbers must be screaming at them, as I know everyone in my district is incredibly upset with what's going at the border, for them to actually come out and say, do not come. But what's so sad is that the actual president of the United States has literally turned our Customs and Border Patrol agents into a greeting party. They don't turn anybody back at the border. They just welcome them, put them on a bus, take them to a facility, put kids in cages, and then they bust them into the heartland of America. It's a really disappointing tactic that they're using, and I do not believe that Kamala Harris is going to be well heard in Guatemala. I'm sure that you saw the signs just as I did where they said Kamala non grata here in Guatemala. And I was very happy to see those, so that I know we have some freedom-loving patriots down there in Guatemala. But I'll tell you, it's no surprise that AOC is attacking them. I'm very curious as to when Biden will actually bend the knee to the AOC wing of their party, because, you know what, we've seen the radicals have taken control of the Democratic Party.
Yeah, AOC is a big hypocrite, too. I mean, they're throwing kids over the border wall. They're drowning in the Rio Grande River. They're being forced to sleep on dirt. They're getting raped and sexually abused in these government facilities. And AOC, as you mentioned, kids in cages. AOC can't be anywhere. She's nowhere to be found at any one of these facilities run by Biden. Vice President Kamala Harris is, as you know, down south. To talk illegal immigration and root causes and such. NBC's Lester Holt asked her why she hasn't visited the U.S. border. Listen to her response.
Okay.
Do you have any plans to visit the border?
At some point, you know, we are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I mean, I don't understand the point that you're making.
Okay, she's the border czar. That's probably the point that he was trying to make. Nobody's put her in charge of Europe. Let me just ask you, Congressman, do you think that the vice president actually thinks that we have an immigration crisis with Europe?
I don't think she actually thinks that. But you know what? She wants us to be like the European Union and just have absolutely no borders anywhere around us. What blows my mind is the fact that she literally just lied on national television. She said, we've been to the border. We've been there. We don't need to go back. And then as soon as she was pressed just a little bit by her, mainstream media crony, she then said, well, you know what? I haven't been to Europe. It's the exact double standard you always see. But, you know, I actually have to hand it to AOC. She actually did fly down to the border when she had that mock stage photo shoot where she was crying at the fences when really there's a parking lot on the other side. So, really, when we're praising AOC over Kamala Harris, you know our vice president's pretty pathetic.
Right. OK. Well, let me talk to you something about a question that I have about something I just talked to a congressman that was on before you. About communist China. We have allegedly, according to some reporting out there from Red State and from independent journalists, that we have a high-ranking Chinese official, highest-ranking defector ever in our custody. However, the DIA didn't share the fact that we had him with the FBI, the CIA, the State Department, and other government agencies for fear those agencies were compromised by communist China. If this reporting is true, Congressman, how big a problem is this? And what can the GOP do to ferret out these traitors in our midst?
Well, you know what? It's no surprise that the Communist Party in China has deep-rooted ties into America. We have over 300,000 students who are on student visas in our colleges. Almost the entire majority of our doctorate programs are held by communist Chinese students. And so it's no surprise that they have really infiltrated a lot of our really incredible intelligence communities. But this is a very dangerous prospect because our intelligence community, the IC, whether it's the FBI, the NSA, or the CIA, are the most powerful entities on the planet. They have power over life and death. This is actually a reason why I am actually calling for a full-scale audit of the intelligence communities. I want to know the exact causes and the exact reasons why they're carrying out missions against the United States citizens and what they're doing that acts against American interests. Now, this is not saying that everyone in these intelligence communities is a bad actor. A lot of these people are patriots who are trying to defend our country from people like communist China. But you know what? When we start seeing what the Fauci emails are declaring, when we see that we have the NIH is actually funding gain-of-function research at the Wuhan lab, when we see that we actually were made aware, our highest-ranking doctor in this entire country was made aware that they believe that this was an engineered virus that was released purposely by the Chinese Communist Party, I think it's time for China to pay us a whole bunch of money. They owe us some reparations.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, you know who's saying that, too, is former President Trump. And you thought I was going to let you get away without addressing this, right? In a speech that we carried here on Newsmax, Fox didn't carry it, MSNBC or CNN didn't carry it, but we did on Newsmax. The former president had this to say about you, Congressman.
Somebody I've gotten to know very well, and he is a handsome sucker. Where's Madison? Madison Cawthorn. Where is Madison? What a great guy. What a good future you've got. Where the hell is Madison? Thank you, Madison. Great job. Thank you very much. If I had a face like him, I would have been president 20 years earlier. 20 years earlier, Madison.
President Trump even invited you into his motorcade, is my understanding, after the speech concluded. Talk to us about your experience with him and about that quote, handsome sucker.
Well, you know what? I've gotten to visit him multiple times down at Mar-a-Lago. I got to see him up at Trump Tower, and now I got to ride in the motorcade with him at the North Carolina GOP convention. But I'll tell you, getting to be mentored by the former president of the United States, getting to sit there and listen to a man who is literally making history, describing those events to you, it's some of the greatest learning experiences I've ever had. I think we have some really big things coming together. Him and I are talking about a very robust plan to, one, take back the House in 2022, and also some very exciting plans we have coming in 2024 and beyond. So I'm hoping that we can unveil all of that sometime soon. But I'll tell you, it has the best interest of Americans first, and that's what we will always be committed to.
Always your mind on business, Congressman Madison Cawthorn. We appreciate the time here on the Chris Salcedo Show. We'll talk again.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.